Welcome back to the Tiberium Hangar. Happy Friday, everybody. I hope everybody is doing well today. Today I want to talk to you about a concept that I've been seeing for several years, and I've actually experienced this myself quite a bit lately in the past year and a half to year, and it's called modern nostalgia. And obviously, it's real easy to have nostalgia for stuff when you were a kid. Transformers you had as a kid, stuff that you had as a kid, a Storm Shadow. Obviously, it's real easy to have. That's my favorite figure from back in the day, so it's real easy to have nostalgia for that kind of stuff. It's easy to have nostalgia for Boba Fett. Oh, I loved Boba Fett back in the day. I want to get a new one. I want to get a modern iteration of this. Real easy to have nostalgia for something like that, but modern nostalgia falls into a little bit of a different category, something that you didn't collect back in the day so much, and you collected it as an adult. Now, there's new iterations of this stuff coming out. It's sort of a modern nostalgia. Your modern brain, your adult brain, actually engaged in this, and you're thinking back to, hey, when I collected that, it was fun. I actually really do want modern representations of this. I saw that with Robotech. I saw it with Silverhawks. Now we're getting modern iterations of Silverhawks, and it's just fun to see these older small toy lines get some love. Sectars, same thing with the Sectars. I've had a lot of fun collecting Sectars several years ago, probably 3 or 4 years ago, and now we're getting some of the unreleased Sectars and stuff I didn't even know was made. We're going a little deeper in the line. It's a lot of fun with the cell. So I would love to see a company come out and do something with these Spiral Zone figures. I had a lot of fun collecting that back in 2021, and then it would be fun to see something happen with that. But when it comes to Transformers, it's real easy to have nostalgia for characters like Optimus Prime, Megatron, Soundwave, and all those. So today I'm going to talk about a handful of figures that I have modern nostalgia for when it comes to Masterpiece Transformers. I want Masterpiece representations, and I didn't have as a kid, and I didn't care about them at all as a kid whatsoever, but I collected them as an adult, and now I kind of want them in Masterpiece representations. We're getting them, or we have them. We'll talk about this coming up. Gonna have to go down in history as my longest intro on a Friday. But the first one is Punch Counter Punch, and I know everybody's going to say, you talk about this character a lot, but I have to tell you that I didn't even know they made this character. I didn't know it was a character. As an adult, there was this figure on a shelf at work, and it was there as like a trophy. Someone had left it behind, a customer left it behind or something, but I didn't know the story behind it. Nobody knew the story behind it. It's been there so long. I actually was like, man, that's kind of cool. That's how I learned this was a character. I went home, researched what character it was, and then I ended up eventually, of course, buying a vintage version and having a vintage version in my collection. Thought it was a really cool figure and the whole concept of it switching back and forth. But the modern nostalgia I had for that as an adult, knowing that it exists, kind of like an archaeological kind of a dig into, oh, what is this thing? And now we're getting modern representations that blow that thing out of the water. They look fantastic. Still, to this day, it grabs my eye. I have one on one shelf and one on another, my 4 Masterpiece shelves, and they both grab my eye whenever I look at the shelf. Pretty awesome figure, pretty awesome concept from back in the day, and it's fostering this modern nostalgia of mine. Next up is Skylynx, and I have to tell you that I never ever had this as a kid, and I think I might have seen it in a catalog and like, what do I want with that? And saw him in the show, and he had such a small part in the show that really it just didn't feel like I needed this figure back in the day. But I ended up picking up a couple of few to piece one good one together, and that whole process was like, man, we really need a modern one. Now the only one I have is actually a Hasbro one. I actually have two. Both the ones Hasbro made in the modern line, the Commander class, and there was another one like Titan Returns or something like that. Combiner Wars. But MMC is the only one that tackled this figure. So when it first came out, I still didn't feel like the character warranted $300 between buying Part A and Part B. There was 2 parts to buy, and then now they've reissued it in the cartoon colors. As I step back and look, maybe the first one's cartoon, the second one is toy. I don't really know. I'm not 100% sure. I like the first one on the left better, and I almost bid on this, but I was like, it's like $280 to buy it, and I like the original colors better. And knowing MMC, I know how they operate. They'll move back to releasing one that looks a lot more like that original one as their next release. But it's like 3 years off. So will I wait 3 years? Yeah, I'm in no hurry. But it's one of those that I'm starting to develop a modern nostalgia for this character that I never ever liked, never ever cared for. And to be honest, the G1 toy is irritating as heck, unless you get one in pristine condition, perfect operating condition, but it can be frustrating as heck if you break it while you're messing with it. Next one is Wreck-Gar. I did not like the character Wreck-Gar at all in the movie. I did not like him back in the day. But as an adult, I got the vintage figure, not complete by the way, which I might eventually complete that one. I'm thinking about it. But I have to admit that I have started to want more Junkions, and I find it weird. It's like a modern nostalgia for me that I did not want this back in the day, and I still don't like the G1 figure. I don't think it's a good figure. I don't think it's a great figure. It's all right, but what they've made in the Studio Series, or whichever line that it comes out in from Hasbro, I've been picking those up because they're cheap, but there's just no doubt that KFC is the best iteration of these, and for 120 a piece. I think sometimes they go on sale for like 80. I've only picked up Wreck-Gar, but my new modern nostalgia for these figures make me want to go for more Junkions. And knowing Keith, knowing how he loves money, and he's already got the mold, we'll see more of these eventually. I think I'll bite on one or two more when they come out, but I'm not sure how he operates with this. I don't think we ever see the reissue. I think we just get a whole different one coming out, because what are there now, 8? Something like that. There are so many of these that are out there. I can't keep track of all of them, but it is cool. And now with Hasbro putting theirs out for the $30 price point, I was kind of excited about those, but then I put them on the shelf next to what KFC did, and I'm like, oh, I gotta have the KFC ones. I really do. So that's something I look forward to in the future. Hopefully I can scratch that modern nostalgia itch. The next one is RC. I had absolutely no idea there was a prototype. This is from the wiki page, is where I got the prototype pictures from. I have to admit, I would not have bought this back in the day, but I still think it's cool that they had an RC planned. I thought when I saw RC that it was too impossible to make a transforming female robot that turned into such a sleek car and a sleek robot with all those curves, and do it in the G1 line. They just didn't have the technology. There was no way they could do it. And you're looking at this, yeah, obviously that's just how it looks, and it's not great, but it's still something interesting. As a kid, I never would have bought it, but I would have thought it was cool that they made it. Around 2014 or 15 or whenever they had this RC, I can't remember when I got it. It was Impossible Toys. They call this the TRNS01 Valkyrie. That's when I realized it's possible to make an RC, and I have to admit, as an adult collecting, and I saw this, my mind was blown. No, it was not Masterpiece, but it opened up the possibilities to the future, what we could get, and, well, it fed my modern nostalgia I didn't have for something that was made back in the day, because we never saw it. Enter the RC Wars, where everybody's got an offering, but nobody's won. There's no clear winner here. I'll just put that on the table. Every one of them does something different that I like, and so that's why I have all of them. None of them are perfect. The only way to get a perfect one, in my opinion, would be to make a non-transforming one that's not stylized, and nobody's done that yet. That's still, somehow, it eludes every company to make this character. So I do have modern nostalgia for this. I would love a non-transforming one that would look perfect, and then maybe get a car to go next to it, or just have one of your 6 transforming ones in the alt mode. That'd be fine too. But still, RC, this plethora of fembots feeds my new modern nostalgia. Next one is just a super easy layup here, but this is a picture from Cybertron.com. Best picture on the internet for both of these figures with the weapon. Perfect picture. I want to say, in G1, I didn't even know these were a thing. Again, back in the day, they weren't in the show much, so they didn't have my attention. I studied the catalogs for characters I wanted from the show, not like off-site shoes. Like, they're gonna trick me into buying some dumb stuff that I don't want. But as time went by, I ended up picking these up for next to nothing, basically free. And then when I heard that they were going to make some in the Hasbro modern line that looked good, that looked like the show more or less, I started wondering, where's the third party? I guess I should have wondered where's Takara's masterpiece, but I'd still be wondering that one right now. X-Transbots made these. They are making a new iteration with slightly different paint apps and stuff. I've got those coming too. These were never a high priority for me, but now that I've got them, I like them and I'm happy, and I have my modern nostalgia for these, but it's something that as a kid, I never would have said, ooh, we really need some good Runabout and Runamucks. I never thought of that. I never would have guessed that this is something that I would want in the future. Henceforth, it's a modern nostalgia as I wanted these. And I still want the next iteration also. And I'm happy with the ones I've got, but I'm really, really curious how the new ones look compared to the first run. Lastly, it's Deluxe Insecticons, and I only had one as a kid. It was the Ransack, and I liked it. And then when I told people I liked it, a lot of people said that it was the worst of all of them. They hated it. They don't like it. I understand why, because now that I have all of them, I see that this was later on. Well, it was kind of early in the run, but the engineering behind some of these, and I think it's is it Venom? The articulation, what that figure pulls off for 80s tech and what was going on at the time, that's a great figure. It's really very impressive, which it kind of blows my mind that thing is so much more advanced than all the other ones that are in there. But all of them have some unique transformations to them, some stuff that's well above the standard 3 Insecticons, and I really want to get some new ones. Now Hasbro's making some more. Hasbro's going to finish this whole line of Insecticons, and that's fun. That's great. But X-Transbots is supposedly giving us these, and the other third-party company, which I can't remember, is Fans Hobby, or one of them made them, I believe. But I really want them to be a lot closer to the G1, and I look forward to it if it comes out. I do have the Hasbro ones pre-ordered, because a lot of the time you are going to be waiting a long time. Hasbro will deliver in that time frame because, well, they have to and they need to make a profit, right? But X-Transbots, or I don't ever see Fans Toys touching these because they weren't in the show, I don't believe. And so there's a lot of things to it. This is a weird, subtle nuance. But aside from Ransack, the other three are modern nostalgia for me. So this gets into where I'm curious about what you think about this topic, of course. But what else out there have you experienced that you have modern nostalgia for? Not stuff that you wanted because you had it as a kid, but as you found out about it as an adult, collected it as an adult, and now you would like a modern representation of that. Or, heck, you just found out about it and you're still trying to track down the vintage option, the vintage version of something, and you think it's really cool out there. Or you picked something up, didn't know what it was, and you found out what it was, and you think that's cool too. There's so many different ways, shapes, forms, reasons that we have this phenomenon, the modern nostalgia. And I want to hear from you guys in the comments below. Again, like and subscribe, and Tydirium Hanger out.